Who is TS? Who is TS?
Oh, Sir Tushita.
So what about the students? Why students are not attending classes? Any idea?
I don't know, sir. Sir, a lot of them are ill, and I don't know about others.
Yesterday there was not a single person in a queue. Also today morning, after 10 minutes, only one few students came. What is the problem? Can you see how many are present now?
Sir, 3.
Only 3. After waiting so much of time. Okay, we'll try to cover something. So the next we have finished terry towel in last 2 lectures. So today it is about denim fabric. Let us have a look to history of the denim. You people are all aware of the jeans. Denim takes its name from Nimes, a Renaissance textile town in France. So it originated from a France in the name of a city. Trousers made from Sorge D9s were owned by sailors trading to end from the Italian port of Genoa. So normally when it was started long time ago, this cloth was used by the sailors as a trouser, whose name in French was jean, which has subsequently been termed as jeans, as you call nowadays. So in textile term, when we define a denim, means a person with a textile background will define denim as a warp-face twill weave fabric. A twill can be woven both warp face and wave face. Denim is always a warp face twill. I will tell you later why. Because we produce denim with dyed indigo dyed warp yarn. Weft is a grey fabric. So that's why the quantity of blue indigo percentage that will come on the surface will decide the dominance of the color of the blue on the surface. That's why it is a warp face twill fabric. And as I said, this warp is a indigo dyed warp, and weft is always a grey yarn, undyed weft yarn. While designer will define denim as one of the fabric quality available in the market, which can be used to fulfill their idea, creativity into reality, but we are not concerned with this designer, these are all literary meaning, but the definition of denim is it's a warp face twill with indigo dyed warp, and weft is a grey yarn, that is undyed weft yarn. But there are so many technicality of this fabric. Let us have a look how it is. So there are some speciality of these denim. First, it's a traditional blue indigo denim, normally warp face 3 up 1 down twill. We also produce denim with 2 up 1 down twill. Warp yarns are indigo dyed, weft are undyed. Usually coarse yarns are used because normally this fabric is used for trouser, whose GSM is about 14 ounces per square yard. But nowadays denims are produced in different GSM, even for lightweight. even for satin material also. When washed, it fades differentially, gives characteristics washed down appearance. That's the speciality of the denim. As you must be aware, when you buy a denim, it looks more bluish, and as you go on using it and washing it, because of the friction, rubbing and washing, the blue color gradually fade away. And it's not that the fading is a drawback of this fabric, it is considered as one of the fashion. Means deliberately the dyeing is carried out in such a manner, the color as you go on using it, because of rubbing and because of washing, this indigo dye color fades away. Then after long time, after many washes, you find the white color comes more and this blue color gradually fades away. But nowadays, several new effects are introduced in the denim, and I will show you some of the samples which you also know. And all these special effects, as you can see, I will show you some samples also. These special effects on the blue indigo denim, classical denim we call it, is created because of chemomechanical process. There are some pure chemical process, there are some mechanical process, and there are some chemical mechanical combination process. So we call it chemomechanical process. There are some process which is given, these are post weaving process. After the fabric is woven, blue indigo dyed is produced, blue indigo dyed denim is produced, then the fabric undergoes several treatment, finishing treatment. It may be pure chemical treatment, it may be purely mechanical treatment, and it could be a combination of chemical and mechanical treatment. It's called chemomechanical process. So this is how the process sequence of denim production. So we take the yarn, weft goes straight without any processing, whereas warp yarn pass through indigo dyeing cum sizing process. We will discuss today what is this indigo dyeing cum sizing, which is the main process in the denim production. Then we go for drawing it, and after that we go for weaving it. After weaving, the fabric undergoes singeing, shrinking and finishing. So these finishings are mechanical and chemical processes. Then fabric goes for inspection and goes for packing. So little bit detail about the construction of this fabric. So denim is a woven fabric produced from coarse indigo dyed warp yarn and undyed weft yarn. As I said, normally 3 up and down twill. Sometimes we use also 2 up and down twill. The normal range of count used in warp varies 6 to 16. So this is a coarse yarn, obviously, and weft count varies from 10 to 20, depending on what GSM fabric we want. There is a wide range of GSM. I will show you some of these samples also subsequently. Wide range of GSM starting from 6 ounces per square yard to as high as 16 or 18 ounces per square yard fabrics are produced. The construction, that is end density, peak density, normally 60 to 72 ends per inch, 32 to 44 peaks per inch. So that's a wide range. And as you know, this count range and thread density range is decided based on what GSM fabric we want to produce, whether starting from 6 ounces per square yard to as high as 16 ounces per square yard. One important thing you must remember, normally all other fabric areal density, that is weight, expressed in GSM, gram per square meter. Internationally, this is only the denim fabric whose weight is expressed in terms of ounces per square yard. This is a convention. There is nothing like technical things. It's a convention all over the world. We express denim fabric areal density in the unit of ounces per square yard. 1 ounce means 1 pound is 16 ounces. So 1 pound is 454 gram approximately. 454 gram is 16 ounces. So denim fabric areal density, that is weight, is always expressed internationally as in terms of ounces per square yard. So you can see there are different samples of denim. 3 up 1 down used in heavyweight, 12 ounces and heavier. Most of the trousers you people use, they start from 12 ounces per square yard, maybe 12 and 14. 14 is the most common. 12 is little lightweight and 16 is very, very heavyweight. It could be 3 up 1 down twill or it could be 2 up 1 down twill. So 2 up 1 down twill is used midweight denim, that is lighter weight, and 3 up 1 down twill is used for heavyweight, that is 16 ounces and above. So if you want to produce a denim beyond 16 ounces per yard is used by 3 up 1 down twill, or anything lighter means less than 12 ounces per square yard uses 2 up 1 down twill. This is what the normal convention, normal procedure we follow in industrial production of the denim fabric. In denim, normally we use broken twill. As you can see here, there is a herringbone twill sample. So you can use both right hand twill, left hand twill, as well as broken twill. As you see one of the sample on the top, it's called herringbone twill. The idea of making herringbone twill is it reduces the fabric torque. As you know, if you use a weave only left hand twill or right hand twill, the fabric get twisted in the same direction. So when we make a trouser, after stitching, the fabric gets fold, twisted in the same direction as the twill direction is. But if you produce a broken twill like herringbone, where both the lines are combined, then this torsional effect is neutralized. So fabric does not get twisted in the leg. We call it leg twisting. So just to eliminate this leg twisting, this broken twill fabric is used to produce denim fabric. And you can see what is the broken twill. It's a herringbone twill where both, one strip of left twill, right, next strip is right twill, and it continues so that the twisting effect, left twisting neutralizes right twisting effect, so that there will be no leg twisting in the trouser when it is stitched. You can see some of the samples below. These are some of the denims nowadays produced using plain woven fabric. So it's not that always denims use twill. There are so many designs have now come up in the market. They use different types of weave design, and a plain woven twill is also shown below here. Also, there are other designs used in denim nowadays, like canvas denim, stretch denim. Stretch denim means it's a denim fabric in which in the weft yarn we use lycra yarn. You must have seen stretch denim. So lycra yarn used in the weft so that there is a stretchability in the fabric for tight fitting denim, mostly used for ladies use applications. Even nowadays gents applications also the stretch denim is used, but mostly it is for the ladies denim. The stretch denim is used. Stretch denim is nothing but simply in the weft yarn we use a lycra core spun yarn, cotton yarn. So you find a stretchability in the fabric. There is another kind of denim, as you can see in bottom line, slop denim. Slop denim means in the weft yarn, which is a gray yarn, we use a slob yarn so that you find some slob effect. So these white spots you see here, it is because the yarn is a slob yarn. So because of this slob yarn used in the weft yarn, you find some slob effect. It's called slob denim. So as far as yarn quality used in denim, all traditional denim is woven with 100% cotton yarn. Normally, since it is a coarse cotton yarn, I have already shown you the count range, 16 count, starting from 10s to 16 count, which is a coarse yarn. So we use short staple fiber. There is no need to use long staple fiber to produce 16 count yarn. Long staple fibers are used to produce 40s, 60s, 80s, 100s count. But if you want to produce 16 count, then obviously short staple fibers are used. General twist multiplier is 4.5 to 5. So it's a very high twisted yarn. That's why the surface of denim fabric is very, very harsh surface. Spun on either ring or rotor spinning system. So denim can be produced using both ring spun yarn as well as rotor spun yarn. Nowadays, some blended yarns are used. People are producing some denims using polyester cotton blended yarn. The blend percentage varies 25, 75, 33, 67, 50, 50 and so on. So there is no restriction nowadays to produce denim as it was in the beginning. We were using only 100% cotton yarn and twill fabric. But no, nowadays some blend yarns are used, rotary yarns are used, ring yarns are used. We use different coarse yarn, fine yarn, heavy weight, low weight, twill weave, plain weave, matte weave. So many things are now mixed up to produce a variety range of denim nowadays. We classify denim based on their weight. The weight range falls between 4 to 16 ounces per square yard. The lightweight 6 to 10 ounce, medium weight 11 to 13 ounce, heavyweight 14 ounces and more. This is ounces per square yard. I have already given you the meaning. These lightweights can be used for satin or maybe for children wear. Even for bottom of the children also can use these lightweight denim. Medium weight normally for ladies denim, and heavyweight 14s and more for gents denim. So lightweight 4 to 10 or 11. You can use this count range yarn 21, 21, 16, 16, 12, 12, 10, 10. As you can see, as you go on producing heavy denim, you can go for coarser count yarn. Same thing happens heavyweight also. As you go for heavier denim like the 14.5 ounces, then you can use 6, 7 count yarn. There is a classification of denim based on dye applications. Means one is conventional indigo dye yarn, which is classic denim. We also produce over dyed yarn, means indigo bottom sulfur top or sulfur bottom indigo top. So this is a classification based on dyeing process. There is a classification based on yarn used. As I said, you can produce ring, open end, ring, open end denim. Means a denim can be produced using both ring yarn, warp and weft. Ring in warp, weft is open end, or you can use open end, both warp in weft. So all these possibilities are there to produce ring denim, yarn variation. And as I said, stretch denim is produced using lycra yarn in weft, so that there is a stretchability of the fabric. Also, some fancy darns are used to produce slop denim or multi-count yarn to give a fancy effect on the fabric. So denims are produced using fancy yarns, slop yarns or multi-count yarns. So these are some of the combination ring rotor, and it depends what is the property you want actually. Look carefully this table. If you want both strength and elongation, then we produce either ring by ring or rotary yarn, because as far as strength is concerned, as you know, ring yarn is stronger than rotary yarn. So if you want strong and high elongation fabric, then you use ring yarn. If you want low strength, low elongation fabric, you can use rotary yarn. Bulk and uniformity. Less bulky, less uniform. Whereas rotary yarn is more bulky, more uniform. So rotary yarn gives a fine texture. Remember this. Since rotary yarn is always more uniform than ring yarn, the fabric texture, the surface uniformity is better in case of rotary denim than the ring denim. Whereas a ring denim is always stronger because ring yarns are stronger than rotary yarns. If you want more hairy effect or soft feel, you use ring yarn. If you want less hairy effect and harsh feel, you use rotary yarn. Ring yarn is always costlier than rotary yarn. So if you are producing a denim from ring yarn, the fabric is expensive. If you are producing a denim using rotary yarn, the fabric is cheaper. So depending on what is your requirement, you can choose when you want ring yarn or when you want rotary yarn to produce different types of denim fabric. Then also there is a classification of denim based on washing treatment in the garment, based on style of the garment. There are many. Nowadays, more than 50 different type of washes or finishing treatment are being used in denim industry to produce different type of denim fabric. I'll just show you only couple of very commercially popular finishing treatment like stone wash, enzyme wash, sandblasting, tie-dye denim, belt bottom, bootleg, bootcut. So these are some of the very popular finishing treatment. I will show you how these treatment, gives a very elegant look to the denim. You must have come across such kind of finishing treatment, finished denim in the market also. That is also called shotgun denim. So I'll just show you some samples of very few items. Little later, maybe after 2-3 slides. The crux of denim production is warp preparation. As I said, denim is produced using blue indigo dyed warp and grey yarn as wet. So how this blue indigo dyed warp yarn is prepared to produce denim fabric, that is the most important aspect of denim manufacturing. This process is carried out on a machine. It's called denim processing machine. This warp process takes place in two different type of denim production. One is called rope dyeing, another is called seed dyeing. I'll show you what is the basic difference between rope dyeing and seed dyeing method of denim production. Indigo dye is very, very popular. This is an organic compound with a distinctive blue color. Historically, indigo was extracted from a plant called Indigofera. Nearly all indigo produced today is synthetic because the organic natural indigo is very less quantity available in the market and it is not available in all the countries. So to have this large demand, to fulfill the large demand of the denim fabric, people produce these synthetic indigo and they are being used to produce the denim fabric. So it is the blue jean we call classic denim. This classic denim or blue jean, after weaving, undergoes different treatments to give different effect. So chemical formula for indigo, as you see here, 616S10N2O2. This indigo is a dark blue crystalline powder. It sublimes at 392 degrees Celsius. Normally it is insoluble in water and alcohol. It is soluble in DMSO, chloroform, nitrobenzene and concentrated sulfuric acid. Then this paste is used and applied to the cotton yarn in a denim processing machine. I will show you that how this machine looks like. This is another important aspect of the denim production. Look at, we call it ring denim effect. So this shows the color yield achieved with temperature 45 degree to, with a pH 10.8 to 11.2. What is this color effect? It's basically shows, we call it ring dyed yarn. Means what is the penetration of dye stuff to the yarn core. That means deep blue obtained by dyeing and oxidizing several times. This gives ring dyed effect where dye stuff is not allowed to diffuse inside the yarn core. But if you want this penetration of dye should happen more deeper, then you can do this. And what is the ultimate objective is, if you are producing this kind of dyeing effect, after few washes it easily fades away. And in this case, since the dye has penetrated deeper, it fades, takes a longer time. But question is, long time, short time is not the quality indication. As I told you, fading of blue from the surface of denim is a style. It's deliberately dyed in this manner. This is structure of the indigo dyed chemistry. But you should know this reaction, what happens, how the indigo dye is treated to cotton fabric. So this is indigo dye in the presence of sodium hydrosulfide and alkali, that is sodium hydroxide. So it's a reduction reaction, gives you reduced indigo, then sodium sulfide as a byproduct. And this reduced indigo, subsequently oxidized, it gives oxidized indigo. And this is how the reaction is completed in a indigo dye bath. I'll show you what is that indigo dye bath and how this cotton yarn is treated or dyed in a indigo dyeing machine. So this is the typical bath. In 3000 liter water, we use caustic soda about 1.5 liter. Sodium hydrosulfide 4 to 5 kg and indigo dye 3 gram per liter. In this calculation, we prepared the typical dye bath. Once the dye bath is ready, then we go for dyeing. As I said, indigo is applied to the cotton yarn by two different methods. One is called rope dyeing method, another is called sheet dyeing method. So I'll show you what is the basic difference between rope dyeing and sheet dyeing. In rope dyeing, as you see here, look at this diagram. The yarn is in the rope form, passed through the indigo dye bath, and after dyeing, the ropes are collected in ball form. We call it ball sizing or ball warping. Whereas in sheet dyeing, the yarn is a continuous sheet form, just like as you do in case of normal warping sizing. And this sheet is passed through a indigo dye bath. So the process is like this. In case of rope dyeing, yarn comes from the krill, pass through the caustic box, then we wash it, then pass through indigo dye box, that is indigo dye bath. After that, again it is washed, then dried, kept in a cans, in a coiler can, and this coiler can goes to a working machine for preparation of weaver's beam. Whereas, look at how this rope dyeing machine looks like. So this is called creel, where the warper's beams are produced on a working machine. A number of warper's beams are kept in this creel. So yarn comes in this form, then pass through a caustic bath. After caustic bath, the yarn gets washed and dried, then pass through a several indigo dye bath. This indigo dyeing is carried out at normal atmospheric temperature. What happens? The yarn gets dipped in the dye bath, then goes up several times so that oxidation reaction takes place and curing of the dyeing takes place in the atmospheric conditions. So there is no heating. It is a normal atmospheric temperature dye bath, indigo dye bath. Several times yarn enters to the dye bath, comes out, again enters, comes out, and so on. Takes place several times. After that, yarn is passed through a washing box. Here the yarn is washed, then dried, then collected in a can in the rope form. It's not collected in the seed form. Rope form, you understand, in rope form. And these cans, where the yarn is collected in the rope form, goes to a working machine, from where these ropes are again combined together to make a weaver's beam. Then I will show you subsequently how seed dyeing takes place. Then I will give you a comparison why we produced rope dyed indigo and why we produced seed dyeing indigo warp yarn. Then only you can realize what is the advantage of making these warp yarn in the coil or in the rope form. Remember, after yarn gets dyed, collected in a can in the rope form, means the group of yarns are collected and kept in the coil form. Just our sliver in the cutting machine gets coiled and kept in the can. Exactly in the similar manner, about group of warp yarn after dyeing in the rope form gets collected in a can. For example, the yarn is coming in this, let's say there are 5,000 ends are coming. Here we have 10 different cans, means 500 cans, 500 ends coiled up together in the rope form in each can. Then these cans are ready. All these cans will go for the subsequent process to warping machine, where the weaver's beam will be ready. So in the rope dyeing, you have already seen caustic bath 3 to 4 wetting troughs, then indigo dye bath 2 to 6 troughs, means 6 times it enters and comes out. Then oxidation time is about 1 to 2 minutes after every trough in the air. Dyeing and oxidizing are followed by 2-3 rinsing bath, means washing. After dyeing, the yarns are rinsed in a water bath, then gets dyed and collected in the can. Then the next process is the seed dyeing process. So what is seed dyeing? I will come to this. Okay, you can see first this sequence of process. Yarn coming from the creel in the beam, pass through an accumulator, pass through a caustic bath, then indigo dye bath, then washing, drying. Then after drying, the yarn pass through a sizing machine. Remember, in rope dyeing, after drying, the yarn in groups goes to can where it is collected. But here, after drying, which is coming in the seed form, the yarn seed pass through a sizing machine, just like we do warp sizing in our conventional sizing machine. After sizing, drying, then the beam is produced here itself. Weaver's beam is produced here itself in the same process. So this is an integrated process where yarn is coming from in the beam form from a creel and caustic washed, dyed, washed, dried, sized and collected in a weaver's beam finally. This is how it looks like. Exactly in the similar manner, in the rope dyeing, the yarn is coming from a creel, passed through caustic bath, passed through series of dye bath, indigo dye bath, exactly in the similar manner, then washed and dried, then passed through a sizing bath, sizing machine. So this is size paste sew box. So warp yarn passed through this sew box, yarn is sized, then dried, then collected as weaver's beam in a beam which straight away goes to loom. So what is the difference between rope dyeing and seed dyeing? In rope dyeing, the yarn is collected here in a can form, in a can, and these cans will again go to a warping machine where it will be used as input material to warping machine and warp beams will be prepared there for weaving. Whereas in this case, the yarn is coming straight after the indigo dyeing and sized here and goes for weaving. So why this single process and why this is integrated process and why there is a two-step process? The reason being, there are so many comparison which I'll show you a chart. What is the fundamental difference between these two processes? But one thing which you can point out here is, in rope dyeing, the yarns are collected in can. These cans will mixed up again in the warping machine. So there is a better probability of mixing of warp yarn at the beam preparation stage. So that if there is at all any variation in dye pickup across the width or length, then it can be mixed up well during this beaming process by mixing these coil cans in the creel of the warping machine. So the texture of the fabric produced from uniformity of color, uniformity of dye application becomes more prominent, means the denim which you produce by this rope dyeing appears more uniform as far as dye pickup is concerned. Whereas in case of seed dyeing, if there is any variation in the dye along the width of the or across the width of the beam, then this continues till the fabric is woven. And of course, there are many other advantages and disadvantages. I will show you a table now from where you can compare what is the basic fundamental difference between rope dyeing and seed dyeing. So in rope dyeing, yarns are assembled in a rope form. In seed dyeing, yarns are assembled in a seed form. Passage of this much, whereas passage of this much of ends. Machine is smaller than seed dyeing, obviously, because it is a two-phase process, whereas single-phase process seed dyeing is a very longer machine. The process time is more because we will use two machines. Here, process time is less because it is integrated. Straight away, we get weaver's beam in this process. Then the immersion and oxidation times are comparatively more for rope. Here, this time is less due to the shorter because of the seed. Rope opening is required. Here, rope opening is not required. The rope dyeing machines are difficult to control because rope yarn means the yarn is opened. There is a possibility of mixed up, jumbled up ends, whereas in this case, this problem is not there. Then what are other differences? Hydrosulfide consumption is lower. Here, hydrosulfide consumption is more. Risk of individual thread breakage is less in this case in the sheet form, whereas in the rope form there is a probability of breakage of threads. The rope dyeing machines are difficult to control. Sheet dyeing machine is easy to control, operate. Sizing is carried out separately. Here sizing is carried out in the same process. And overall advantage, as I said, the uniformity application of the color in rope dyeing than the sheet dyeing. There is another process called double sheet dyeing. This is a further development from sheet dyeing to double sheet dyeing. Twice the number of single warps are presented to the dyeing range. So dyeing and sizing process are performed separately. So production is almost double. That is the reason why this process is used, double sheet dyeing, high productivity. There is also another process, it's called loop dyeing machine used in denim. A variation of the open warp dyeing machine. This is just a modified open warp dyeing machine. Here warp is fed back to the same dye repeatedly, and this makes the machine much shorter. So this is normally used in a low scale production, not very used in a large scale commercial production, but there is a process called loop dyeing machine also. How we go for sizing the indigo warp dye. In denim fabric, sizing is carried out on dyed warp, as you have seen. Yarn gets dyed, then in integration, in continuous process, it passes through a sew box. So most often starch-based products are used, that is starch and PVA blend are used for this indigo warp dyeing machine, warp dyeing process. On sizing, normally 8 to 10% add-on is used. So two things you have to remember here in as far as sizing of indigo is concerned. The size material is starch PVA blend and the add-on percentage 8 to 12 depending on what is the count. If it is a finer count, more add-on. If it is coarse count, less add-on. That is the philosophy how indigo warp dyed yarn is sized for weaving. Then coming to after warp preparation, we go for weaving. One can produce this blue indigo denim on any of these technology. This weaving is possible in air-jet loom, in rapier loom, in projectile loom. Any of these technology can be used to produce indigo blue denim fabric. Then coming to finishing range. After fabric is woven, this is the sequence of process. Brushing, singeing, I think you all know this in chemical processing, skewing unit, then rubber belt unit and Palmer unit. Basically, I will show you this what these are typical indigo, blue indigo classic denim fabric processing unit. The most important is singeing process and skewing process, and I will come to that subsequently. This is the finishing range you can see here. So fabric coming from loom, first brushing, then singeing. So singeing is the burning of the protruding fibers, hairs. Then this is finishing pad. Then go for skew device, pass through the dry can, and there is a rubber belt stretching. This is carried out to process the fabric so that the setting is carried out, fabric gets stretched, and final shape is given to the fabric, which will go for the garment making unit. This is singeing process, just like a cotton fabric, at 350 degrees Celsius, the flame, the fabric is passed over. The protruding hairs are cut out. Process. Look, many उमेंदर,
यस सर।
यस सर। क्या हुआ, ये स्लाइड विजिबल है?
यस सर, विजिबल।
मेरा कैसे टाइप हो गया? Okay, so can you see now?
Yes sir, it's a topic of a skewing.
Skewing process?
Yes sir.
So just a minute. हाँ सुनील जी, गुड आफ्टरनून। आप आए आज? वो जगदीश जी आए क्या? यार मैं कितनी बार किया, उठा ही नहीं रहे टेलीफोन। वो ये वाला काम है मेरा। थोड़ा अभी क्लास चल रहा, मैं आपको, आप कितने बजे फ्री होंगे मैं बात करूं? हाँ हाँ हाँ, वो जो ऑनरेरियम जो मैंने भरा था ना, से एमआई प्रोजेक्ट का, तो आप, हाँ नहीं नहीं, ऑनरेरियम जो एमआई प्रोजेक्ट का जो मैंने बात की थी ना, 6, नहीं नहीं फैकल्टी को, हाँ वो उस टाइम बात हुई थी, आपने जैसे बोला था मैंने भर दिया था, और जगदीश जी ने भी बोला था इससे इसे भर दो, मैंने सारे भर दिया था। लेकिन वो मैडम जो है ना आपका एआर मैडम, वो सारे वापस कर दिया, कहते कि ये प्रोजेक्ट को आपको एक्सटेंड कराओ। एक्सटेंड कहते हैं कि वो प्रोजेक्ट का ड्यूरेशन, हाँ तब जाके हम, नहीं नहीं जया शर्मा का तो हो गया, ये फैकल्टी का था, ये एमआई प्रोजेक्ट। हाँ चलो, ऐसे आप कितने बजे जा रहे हैं आज? मैं आपको 2 बजे करूं टेलीफोन? ठीक है, ठीक, ओके। So we'll close here only. What is this queuing process is? As I said, most of the denims are produced either left hand twill or right hand twill. Because of this, so leg twisting, because of the torsion in the fabric, particularly at the trousers, the fabric trousers leg gets twisted. So while using different weave design, at that time, if you use broken twill, for example, herringbone twill, as I have already shown you, you can neutralize this twisting effect. But as you know, normally people don't prefer herringbone twill or broken twill in case of denim. So then how to get rid of this problem? So this problem is get rid of by skewing process. This is simply a natural adjustment of the fabric. Skewing refers to the occurrence of twisting. So what do we do? Twill-based fabric shrinks more perpendicular to the twill line than along the twill line. That's the reason why it get twisted. Right hand twill twist in the counterclockwise direction, left hand twill twist in the clockwise direction, as because of the direction of the twist line. So right hand twill should be skewed by advancing the right selvage with respect to left and vice versa. If it is left hand twill, then left hand twill cloth should be skewed by advancing left selvage with run face off. So depending on what is the, whether you are using right hand twill or left hand twill, then you go for skewing in opposite direction, so that the twist in the fabric can be neutralized and there will be no leg twisting when it is converted to trouser. This is what the role of skewing process in denim. Sunforization, you know, I don't need to explain. This is for heat setting, as you have come across in chemical processing. Then different type of washes, and this will take little more time. Next class I will cover these different type of washes in the denim. So I close it here.
Sir, only 2 students are present from in this class.
It's okay, no problem, because the students are not interested, they are not attending. Anyway, we have only left with one class only next week.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay, you can log down. Okay.